Throw that dirty woman out now. The beggar crashed against the farm gate, clutching the iron bars as if her life depended on them. Then Chinedu saw her face, and his blood turned cold. The afternoon sun burned across the plantation. Workers carried heavy baskets of cassava, while tractors roared through the fields. Then, a scream exploded near the gate. Sunday, the head laborer, pushed a shivering woman into the dust. "Move from here. This farm is not for beggars." The woman cried weakly, but instead of leaving, she crawled back toward the entrance. "Please, please help me." Her wrapper was torn. Her legs shook. One side of her face was purple and swollen. Chinedu walked toward the noise slowly. The workers moved aside for him immediately. Sunday pointed angrily. "She has been hiding here since morning." Chinedu sighed, reaching into his pocket for a coin. Then the woman looked up. Everything stopped. Ngozi, the same woman who left him for a rich politician 5 years ago. Ngozi stretched out a weak, trembling hand. "Please, sir, even dry bread." 5 years earlier, that same woman had called him a useless farmer and spat on his floor. Now, she sat in the dirt, like a homeless stranger. Chinedu leaned closer, his voice a low growl. "Look at me carefully." Ngozi stared into his eyes and screamed in horror. "You!" Ngozi crawled backward in terror, her whole body vibrating with shock. Dust covered her hands. The workers looked around in confusion. Ngozi stared at Chinedu's face like she was seeing a ghost. The scar on his chin, the deep, hardened eyes, the strong, commanding voice. "You're alive." She looked around the giant plantation in disbelief. "All this belongs to you." Chinedu remained silent. Pain burned inside his chest. He remembered the night she left. Rain pouring through their leaking roof. Ngozi packing her bags, screaming that she would never waste her life with a man who smelled like soil. Now she looked destroyed. Sunday stepped closer. "Boss, who is this woman?" Before Chinedu could answer, Mama Joy, the oldest harvester, gasped loudly. "I know her. That's Chief Obina's woman." The workers exploded into whispers. "I was never his wife." Ngozi shouted through tears, burying her face in the mud. "He used me." Chinedu's face hardened into stone. "Then why did you leave me?" Ngozi burst into a wail that silenced the tractors. "I was foolish." Tears carved tracks through the dirt on her cheeks. "Chief Obina lied to me. He promised me the world." Chinedu clenched his fists. The memory attacked him. 5 years ago, he had returned from the fields with a single yam after days of hunger. He had been so proud. Ngozi had looked at the yam with pure disgust. "Is this food?" she screamed, slapping him hard. "You smell like poverty." Back in the present, Ngozi cried harder. "After the election, he threw me away like trash." Chinedu's anger mixed with a sickening pity. Then, a strange old woman appeared quietly near the gate. Nobody saw where she came from. She stood holding a long wooden staff, watching them with eyes that looked ancient. The old woman pointed her staff at Ngozi. "The earth remembers every wound." A sudden, cold wind rushed through the crops. Ngozi suddenly lunged forward, grabbing Chinedu's leg. "They are coming for me. Chinedu, help me." A loud engine thundered outside the gate. Ngozi started screaming uncontrollably. A black SUV raced toward the plantation, kicking up a wall of dust. Workers dropped their hoes. Fear spread like fire. Ngozi hid behind Chinedu's legs. "They found me." The SUV screeched to a halt. Four huge men in black suits stepped out. Their faces were cold, professional. The leader pointed directly at Ngozi. "Hand her over." Sunday gripped his cutlass tightly. The workers moved closer to Chinedu. The scar-faced leader stepped forward. "She stole something from Chief Obina." Ngozi sobbed. "I didn't mean to take it." Chinedu stood tall, blocking her. "This is my land. No one takes anyone from here by force." The leader laughed darkly. "You're protecting a snake farmer." The men reached into their jackets. Metal flashed. Guns. Ngozi shouted desperately. The file can destroy him." "Don't let them take me." Ngozi crawled through the mud as the gunmen clicked their safety locks. Rain clouds gathered instantly. Ngozi confessed, while escaping the mansion. She had stolen a leather folder. I thought it was money, she whispered. Instead, it was a ledger of death. Illegal payments, murder records, election fraud. Chief Obina wanted it back at any cost. The scar-faced leader aimed his gun at Chinedu's chest. Give her to us now. Chinedu didn't blink. I said no. Behind him, 50 workers raised their machetes and hoes. The old woman lifted her staff slowly. The truth cannot hide forever. A freakish wind swept through the crops, blinding the gunman for a split second. A bolt of lightning struck the iron farm fence, right beside the SUV. The lightning strike threw everyone back. Ngozi collapsed into the mud, screaming in a voice that didn't sound human. The rain began to pour. Ngozi clawed at the wet soil. Chief Obina planned everything. Chinedu froze. Ngozi confessed that the politician had been stalking her months before she left. He told me you were cheating. He said you wanted another woman to take my place. Chinedu's chest tightened. It had been a trap. Obina wanted Chinedu's family land. Destroying the marriage was just the first step. Chinedu suddenly grabbed Ngozi's shoulders, his voice cracking. And our child. The entire farm went dead silent. Ngozi stared into his eyes and whispered, I was pregnant when I left you. Chinedu staggered backward as if he'd been shot. The rain soaked his face, hiding his tears. The workers watched in horror. Ngozi held her stomach as if she could still feel the phantom weight. I wanted to tell you, but Obina poisoned my mind. After I moved in, he found out. He didn't want another man's child. She struggled to breathe. His doctor, he gave me medicine. It was poison. Chinedu's knees buckled. Our baby died. The storm became a roar. For the first time in years, the great farmer cried openly. All his wealth suddenly felt like ashes. The scar-faced leader, bored by the drama, shouted, Enough! He leveled his gun at Chinedu's head. Give us the file now, or everybody dies. A gunshot rang out, hitting a tractor. Women screamed. Workers scrambled for cover. The gunman moved in. Ngozi curled into a ball. Please don't kill him. But Chinedu stood up. His grief had turned into a cold, deadly rage. You will leave this land, he said. The leader laughed. You still protect her? Chinedu's jaw tightened. She is under my roof now. The old woman walked between the guns and the farmer. The rain poured over her, but she stayed dry. One gunman whispered, Who is she? The old woman lifted her staff toward the black sky. The blood on your hands has reached heaven. Thunder exploded directly overhead. A massive lightning bolt hit the ground between the gunmen, throwing two of them into the mud. The gunmen scrambled backward in panic. This place is cursed, one screamed. Smoke rose from the scorched earth. The attackers stared at the old woman as if she were death herself. One man dropped his weapon and ran. The others followed, piling into the SUV. Only the leader remained for a second, glaring at Ngozi. Chief Obina is coming himself. Then he sped away. Silence fell over the plantation. The workers looked at the old woman with terrifying respect. She turned toward Ngozi. Your punishment is not over. The old woman touched Ngozi's forehead with her staff. Ngozi's eyes rolled back. She let out a piercing scream. Visions of her past sins, her laughter, her pride, her cruelty, exploded inside her mind. Ngozi rolled in the mud, clawing at her own skin. Forgive me. Please, make it stop. She saw every villager she had mocked. She saw the tears of Chinedu's mother. The pain was physical. The old woman's voice echoed. The proud heart must bend before peace can enter. Ngozi crawled toward Chinedu's feet. I destroyed our home. I destroyed our child. Chinedu stood over her. He remembered loving her more than his own life. Now she was a broken shell. The rain began to soften. Chinedu finally spoke, his voice heavy with 5 years of salt. You broke me, Ngozi. Why should I forgive you? Ngozi froze. The question was sharper than any knife. Chinedu pointed to his vast fields. I built all this while people laughed at me because of you. I slept hungry. I cried alone. Ngozi pressed her forehead into the mud. I know. I deserve nothing. Part of Chinedu wanted revenge. Part of him remembered her laughter under the mango tree. Ngozi lifted her head. I am not asking to be your wife again. Everyone gasped. Ngozi pointed toward the dirty, grueling fields. Let me work here. As a laborer, let the soil take my pride. Sunday burst into a cruel laugh. The woman who hated farmers now wants a hoe. The workers mocked her openly. You said we smelled like goats. Now you want to join the herd. Ngozi swallowed the insults. She didn't fight back. I will sleep where they sleep. I will eat what they eat, she told Chinedu. Chinedu studied her. For the first time, he saw no jewelry, no makeup, only raw regret. The old woman nodded. The soil humbles every heart. Chinedu turned to Sunday. Give her a hoe. Shock rippled through the crowd. She gets no special treatment, Chinedu added coldly. If she slows down, she goes. Before sunrise tomorrow, she joins the north field. Bam! 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 Wake up! Sunday kicked the door to the workers' hut before the sun was even up. Ngozi woke up on a thin mat, her body aching. She took the hoe and walked into the north field. The sun was brutal. By noon, her soft city hands were bleeding. The workers threw dirty water at her feet. Drink, city woman. Ngozi didn't cry. She picked up the cup and drank. Chinedu watched from the shade of a tractor. He expected her to quit. He waited for her to run. Ngozi's legs gave out. She slumped against a cassava mound. A female worker spat near her. Give up already. Ngozi suddenly face-planted into the dust, motionless. Ngozi has collapsed. Workers gathered around her limp body. Chinedu arrived, his heart racing. He lifted her. She was burning with fever. As he carried her toward the shade, she grabbed his shirt. No, let me work. If I stop, I become the old me again. Chinedu felt a shift in his heart. This wasn't an act. The old woman appeared by the fence. The proud woman is dying. A new soul is waking. That night, Chinedu left a bowl of food and medicine by her door. He didn't say a word, but as he walked away, strange, heavy footsteps circled the worker's hut. A slow, scratching sound against the wooden wall. Ngozi sat up, her heart hammering against her ribs. We know you have the file. A voice whispered from the dark. Ngozi backed into the corner, clutching the leather folder. The door burst open. Two masked men rushed in. One grabbed her by the throat. Give it to us. Leave her. Chinedu crashed through the door with a cutlass. A violent struggle broke out in the tiny room. One attacker pulled a jagged knife. Ngozi screamed, Chinedu, watch out. Blood suddenly splashed across the whitewashed wall. Chinedu staggered backward, clutching his arm. Ngozi shrieked in terror. Chinedu didn't fall. He kicked a man into the wall, and Sunday arrived with the rest of the men. The attackers fled into the night. Ngozi tore her wrapper to bandage Chinedu's arm. You got hurt for me. Chinedu looked at her. I'm still alive. Ngozi broke down. You should hate me. Chinedu whispered. I tried. Sunday ran back inside, pale. Boss, look at the wall outside. In red paint, it read, She dies before sunrise. She dies before sunrise. The words glowed under the farm's floodlights. The workers were terrified. She brought this here. Send her away. Ngozi looked at Chinedu, ready to walk into the darkness to save him. Chinedu gripped his cutlass. Nobody touches her. She stays under my protection. Suddenly, a scout ran from the road. Boss, a convoy. It's him. 3 black SUVs turned onto the plantation road, their headlights cutting through the rain. The SUVs stopped. Chief Obina stepped out, looking pristine in white lace. So, the poor farmer became rich, Obina mocked. Chinedu stood his ground. You are not welcome. Obina's eyes locked onto Ngozi. She belongs to me. Ngozi stepped out from behind Chinedu. I was never yours. I was a prisoner. Obina laughed. You think you know her, farmer? Obina whispered. She still hasn't told you the whole truth. Chinedu turned to Ngozi. Her face was white as a sheet. What truth? Chinedu asked. Obina pulled a set of documents from his pocket. This land, everything you've built belongs to me. Ngozi signed it over to me 5 years ago. Obina smiled. Ngozi fell to her knees. I thought they were marriage papers. I didn't read them. Chinedu felt his world tilt. His father's land, his life's work, sold by the woman he was protecting. Obina raised the papers. By tomorrow morning, I am the owner of this farm. The workers erupted into a riot of shouting. You are a thief. Sunday yelled. Obina's guards raised their rifles. Ngozi was sobbing in the mud. I'm sorry. Chinedu, I didn't know. Chinedu looked at Obina. You manipulated a desperate woman. The old woman stepped forward. The wind picked up, swirling the dirt around Obina's feet. One paper flew out of his hand. Sunday snatched it. Sunday's eyes went wide. Boss, this signature is fake. Obina's smile vanished instantly. The spelling is wrong, Sunday pointed out. Ngozi's name is misspelled. Obina's guards looked nervous. You were useful, Ngozi. That's all. Obina spat. The workers started closing in with their tools. The old woman spoke. The truth has opened the grave of lies. Police sirens wailed in the distance. Blue and red lights flooded the gate. Police trucks stormed the plantation. An officer stepped out. Drop your weapons. He walked to Ngozi. Are you the one with the evidence? Ngozi pulled the leather folder from her wrapper. Obina tried to run, but he was surrounded. If I fall, she falls with me. Obina suddenly grabbed Ngozi and pulled a hidden gun. The gun was pressed against Ngozi's temple. Everybody back. Obina screamed. Chinedu stepped forward. Take me instead. Let her go. Ngozi cried out. No, Chinedu. Chinedu's eyes were calm. I already lost a child. I won't lose you too. Bang! A shot rang out through the rain. Ngozi fell to the ground. But it wasn't her blood. Obina staggered, a hole in his shoulder. A police sniper had taken the shot. The gun fell. The politician was in the mud. Chinedu pulled Ngozi into his arms. The old woman whispered, The debt is paid. She began to fade into the rain. Now, she said, the wounded must choose their future. Weeks later, sunlight touched the quiet plantation. Ngozi stayed, not as a wife, but as a worker. Her hands were now rough. Her heart was quiet. Chinedu found her by the river. You should rest. The soil gives me peace, she said. They stood together. He had forgiven her, but the shadow of their lost child remained. The village would never forget the woman who left for power and returned begging at the farmer's gate.